20 and she's ready. Oh my goodness. The last time I think I did this was during the global pandemic. Yeah, back in 2020. Yeah, so I started this podcast, and while school happened, and then 4 years later, life happened. So yeah, it really does feel like ages, but it's only just been 4 years. But I decided to restart this again. And yes, you'll notice with each episode that I'll probably bring out they're rhyming, because I just think it's cooler if things rhyme. So 20 and she's ready. Yeah. So I really just wanted to create again and sort of keep busy. I don't really have a deep revelatory answer to this, but that's just it. But I still thought, you know what, let me just do something. But this, I feel, is also maybe low-key kind of a diary that I would keep. Just something to look back on and reflect on. Of course, I could do this with, like, what's this, the Memo app on my phone, but I want something to have, like, more, trinket on even more, and just have fun editing. So yeah, apparently you start a podcast. So don't worry though, you're not going to get my full unfiltered thoughts and everything, but I just hope that this is relatable to someone, specifically reaching out to those who are in their 20s, or send this to a younger sibling or something who's yet to join us over here. So yeah, why 20? Basically, when I started this, I actually had turned 22. That was 2020. I turned 22. But I actually turned 2018. Oh, the maths is not mathsing. But I wanted to basically reflect on where I was, and just reflecting on my 20s, and what these next couple of episodes will be, basically until where I reach where I'm at right now, which would be 26. So it'll really just be reflections, thoughts, I don't know. Yeah, something like that. But man, at 20, I think I was doing my final year in my bachelor's. So that was back in 2018. And at least one of the most dreadful things that you could think would happen to you once you're doing your bachelor's is, at the time at least, I had to stay off campus. Gasp, whispers. So I had to stay off campus, which is not really ideal considering the environment, well, at least in SA, in South Africa, where I'm from. But no, so I had to, the reason why you'd be off campus is because you had to maybe rewrite an exam, or maybe you failed a course or anything, so which affects your accommodation status. So I had to look for boarding off campus, and it's not really in a place you want to find yourself in. But I think at the time this was actually a major blessing in disguise. It was just such a, I don't know, it was just exactly what I needed. It was really just what I needed, because at the time I think I was only 3 years into really, like, fully giving myself over to Jesus, and believing in him and following him. And this moment of separation and just, really helped me actually draw closer to God, and to actually have my own personal relationship. Because before that, I was, if you stay on campus, so it's still of a safety net, should I say, because the campus ministry, I mean, there's services every day, so I'd be able to go every day, and then there's prayers. But to outside of that, I really had my own I should say, personal connection with God, in, like, my own devotion. Yes, that's the word. My own personal devotion with God, and just really taking the time out to say, okay, I'll pray. I mean, I would pray when I wake up, you go to bed, but there was nothing deeper. I would just depend on, okay, I'm going to church, and just hanging around my church community, and that was it. But never really striving to go anywhere, just go deeper, But that was always a constant prayer, actually, when I think about it, that, oh Lord, I want to grow closer to you. And then all of a sudden, it's like, move off campus. So I think that moment or space of isolation actually helped me to really just say, okay, well, I don't have 1 o'clock prayers, 11 o'clock prayers, and all the prayers that are happening on campus. It just had to be me and God, and that's it. But I don't know. It was a switch went on. It's sort of a growth spurt. Let's put it that way. It's like, I think the closer you grow to Christ, there's always just a sense of, okay, I'm growing, and you're reaching, from one level to another, and growth and understanding of His word and just who He is, and who you are in Him. But yeah, it was also around this time that I remember I wrote down this whole vision for my life. I was like, okay, God, well, what's the plan after here? Because I did the 3 years. Well, it was my third and final year. So, I've got my own plans. My parents had their own plans for me. So where am I headed after this? Because all I've ever known was school. Directly after finishing high school, it's just straight to doing some more school. And I wrote that down. I was like, okay, I want to do a master's in Sweden. Hint, hint, that actually happened. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I want to do my master's in Sweden. I think I also wrote down I had plans either to go to the UK, Sweden, the States. I just wanted the best. I wanted to be able to do marketing, whatever. And, this time of solitude, I really think anchored me, as I said, in just getting into more of my Bible, on my own, and just praying more. And I think this was able to anchor me. So that also helped me figure out, like, okay, where am I headed? What's going on? But I think this, also just gave me more one-on-one time, I think, with God, to just really hear from Him. I don't want to lie. I think this was one of the best times in terms of my relationship with God, because it felt so fresh and just exciting as well, and new. Not that it's not right now, but there's been 4 years. When I think about it, I'm like, there's been so much happening, ups and downs, and times where I've really fallen off as well. I'm like, am I still Christian? Do I still love Jesus? Oh, because I've sinned, and I went back to Jesus. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. Okay, can I try again? So, but you realize that God is He's still there waiting more than ever, actually. Yes, but I'm also trying to think back where I was mentally in general. I think I was for sure excited that I'm turning 20. I think I also had a whole determination that year that, okay, I'm gonna be more girly girl. No idea what that means. But I was like, I'm gonna wear more dresses. I'm just gonna wear more makeup, or anything like that, as if that's what encompasses all a woman is. But at the time, I was like, I'm going through a makeover. Okay, not the same. I'm turning 20 now. Okay, I'm different. And I know that every year I'm really going to be different. But at the time, this was my thinking, and just, I was just, I'm always excited really to actually turn a new age. I think for me, it's such a huge blessing. I remember that year, I was just also determined to really get my confidence levels up, right? So I even bought a wig. Yeah, and I still use it till this day. Standard wig. I remember that I'm gonna do everything I can to make myself feel better, feel really better about who I am, and just about myself, and that I don't have to look at myself in the mirror and think, oh man, why am I not better? I don't know, right? As if that will really get to the root of and the heart of the matter. It did not. Here we are, 6 years later. It's still a work in progress. Yeah, but I thought dealing with this external part would have an effect on the internal aspect. Like, if you look good, you feel good. It turns out you can look good and still feel or something. I don't know. It was very short-lived. But I think, what would I tell my 20-year-old self? What would I say? God's grace is sufficient. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things. I learned that year as well, that God is not mad at me. I think that was one of the biggest breakthroughs I had, is that, he's not a white guy looking down at you with a white beard saying, "How dare you, Kanye?" But his grace is always sufficient. You don't have to strive to work so hard for his love. Like, you don't have to work for his love and say, "Man, I need to do this in order for God to love me." No, like, he does. That's just it. Just live every day in his love. Yeah, I would say, that wig isn't working, right? So I would probably say that. Say, girl, let that thing go. It's still cute, but there were times when I look back at my photos, I'm like, now my friends at the time, they did me wrong, because that thing was it was not sitting well. It was not sitting well. But anyway, yeah, I think that's pretty much it from me. Yeah. I'll check you guys next time. Yeah. Okay. Bye.